amazing. I just don't even know where to start. That is literally one of the best cinema experiences I can remember having in I don't even know when. Just the whole thing was just one of the best experiences I've had. I walked into that cinema thinking, this is going to be great. There was Star Wars music being played in the restaurants we went to before, and it was getting us in the mood, and I was excited. And then just as the film started and continued and progressed, my expectations were already high, but this just took it to hyperspace and it just went beyond. Like, this is nothing which I was expecting. The thing that really just got me is that everything that you kind of see in the trailer is that kind of happens at the start of the movie. And then the rest was just a complete surprise. So everything that I was getting, I was like, all this fresh content and all these things I did not think was going to happen, things that were going to happen with the characters. I was so emotionally attached. And that end scene, just, you know the one I'm talking about. If you've seen it now, when Darth Vader turns up on his Star Destroyer, but he doesn't just turn up on this Star Destroyer. The Rebel fleet is beaming and jumping into hyperspace. They're retreating. They've got the plans. And Darth Vader just turns up in his Star Destroyer from hyperspace, and he just rams one of the Rebel transport ships out of the way, and then it just smashes into it. And that's Vader's entrance. Like, bang! I'm here. And I was like, wow, like, everyone's retreating. Darth Vader's just turned up in a single Star Destroyer. Like, what's going to happen now? Are we going to see more Darth Vader? Because we saw quite a lot of him where he was introduced early on in the film. And that scene was just, it was just mesmerizing. It was just gave me all the nostalgia. I was just, all throughout the film, they were just chucking nostalgia at me and all these nods to the movies and so much to talk about. I just don't even know where to begin. I digress. When there was in Mustafar, I think that was Mustafar, where his castle, where Vader's home was, he's got lava pouring down. We see him in the Bacta tank. And then when Krennic turns up to talk to him, and he's revealed when the doors go up, and then you see Vader's silhouette, but just not a tiny silhouette, this massive Vader silhouette. And I got shivers everywhere, and you hear the Imperial March, and my goodness, just what a way to have him entering a scene. But yeah, seeing him turn up at the end, because we saw him force choke Krennic, that was an awesome scene. The dialogue, James Earl Jones, just his costume, it was just so amazing. I'm getting way too excited for this. But I thought that was enough of Vader to justify him being in the film. I thought they'll probably leave it at that. And then just at the end when he turns up and then there's a damaged rebel starship and one of the cruisers, and I was like, oh, so are we going to see him board it? And then he gets on his shuttle, and then he's followed by TIE fighters, and then he boards it, and you're like, oh, is he going to go on now? And then you see him go on, but just in the most awesome way that they can just show Darth Vader, and that's him just coming in with all this black smoke, and then he just walks through, ignites his lightsaber, and there's just red, and you just see Darth Vader there. And I thought, that's got to be the finish. And no, they give us even more. And then you got these rebels trying to literally take these plans and chucking it to one another before they get killed, and trying to get it onto another place, which was the Tantive. And that was just awesome scene as well, that was literally in the damaged cruiser, and they were that close to just getting the plans away from Darth Vader, and he's slicing down everyone using the force choking. We've never ever seen him like that, and that's what I wanted to see him in episode 3, stuff like that. And I feel like that was just the best ending for a film that I've just seen ever. I just loved everything about it. Everyone was cheering, had goosebumps down me, and then when you see the Tantive fly off and Darth Vader's taking down the rebels and they just escaped, and then he's standing there looking down, and then the Imperial March, like Vader's theme, is just played. It's like, oh my goodness, like, how could you even top that? I don't think that's even possible. So just that scene alone for me was just my favourite thing that just happened in Rogue One. And don't get me wrong, all the film is just filled with these amazing moments and scenes. I was so emotionally attached to all the characters in there. Cassian, he was just amazing. I really thought he was going to have a different take, different character, but he turns out to be this agent who just shooting people. And I thought, is he actually with the Rebel Alliance? and then he sort of changes, and there's great character development there. K2SO, what an amazing droid. He had the audience in laughter. He had so many funny moments. I love his wit. It was a total new take for droids, and I just loved everything about him. The chemistry with him and Jin. Jin was awesome. Her story with her father, it was compelling. I wanted to see more of it. It just kept me just glued to it all the time. It just worked so well with her father being so integral to the Death Star, and to find out that Galen had actually put a flaw into the Death Star so it can be destroyed, and obviously by Luke Skywalker. That just, it spoke to me. There were so many moments in there. I just thought, wow, it's like the movie's speaking to you. It's like, yeah, we know that you watched episode 4, 5, 6. We know that you want to go back there. We know that you want these sort of references and stuff, and we're going to give it to you. We can do it in this film. This is for you. Enjoy it, embrace it, and there you go. Seeing that and just how it sort of ties in with episode 4 just so perfectly, the fact that he's left this flaw in the Death Star plan, and that clears up the whole argument of why is there an exhaust port in the Death Star. Well, that's because Galen put it in there and Luke destroyed it and caused the train reaction, and then of course the Death Star exploded. It was just a completely awesome way to tell the story and add depth. The whole time it was adding depth and just making episode 4 even greater than it already is. It just makes me want to watch it like so badly right now, so I could be like, oh, just find the references with Rogue One, and this happened because of that, and there, and just, oh, it's just amazing. And the thing that really stood out was at the start when I heard that Tarkin was going to be in it, but I thought, no, obviously I'm not sure how they'd do that. There might be some sort of reference to him, but him being in the film as long as he was, and CGI these days is just incredible. And the scenes, and I don't know, it must have been an actor that really looked like him, and then obviously enhanced features and CGI, but just the mannerisms and everything about Tarkin was just brilliant. His relationship with Krennic as well, that sort of opposition there. Krennic loses his temper and Tarkin's all cool and content, and I just think that's the Empire. Like, the Empire is made from people like Tarkin, and it just made me feel scared. The Empire felt imposing, and it just took me back to when I was younger, when I used to look upon the Empire like they are scary and imposing, and it just brought it all back. And Tarkin really represented that with the Death Star, his cool demeanor and how he went about doing things. It was just amazing. I just can't believe that they even put him for so long as well in so many scenes. It just was brilliant to see him in there. The ending is so intertwined with A New Hope that literally all the pieces fit in together, and they don't fit in together like a convenient fit. This happened because of this happened, like Captain Antilles at the end of Revenge of the Sith, how C-3PO's mind wiped, this is your new master sort of thing. It's kind of, they're there for a reason, and then you get to see Leia at the end as well, and that was just magical, just such an amazing way to end. And it's literally that Darth Vader is on the Star Destroyer that's in pursuit of the Tantive. That was special. That was just such a special moment. It like takes you back, and you think, wow, it's just like the story that you wanted to know, why the Death Star was chasing, how she came about with the plans. Just what an amazing story. John Knoll, I think, who originally pitched this idea, we all know from ILM, just the man coming up with this idea, pitching it, and the way it's all come about. Lucasfilm, what they've done with this, Kathleen Kennedy, well, I myself couldn't possibly thank them enough, because this movie for me has just been like real eye-opener, just such an immersive experience, something which I haven't felt in cinema for a very long time. So all the scenes that are included in there so cleverly like put in. I just love that there was red leader and gold leader. Like, I couldn't believe that I was seeing their faces, and I wonder if they were just lookalikes or pre-recorded things from episode 4 which they vamped up and that wasn't actually in A New Hope, and they put it in here and it just fit perfectly. But however they did that, it was special. There were special moments in there, and it just made my spine tingle, have shivers down me. And something else I noticed when Red Squadron are flying in, and then Red 5 gets killed. Well, obviously Luke Skywalker's going to take Red 5's place. So yeah, that was just little nods like that. I thought, wow, that was just so clever that they've just done that. It's an amazing thing that got me so early on in the film as well was Ponder and Cornelius, I think it is, the big guy from A New Hope, and they barge into Cassian and Jin and turn around, and then I think Ponder is looking like he's gonna start something again, and that was just amazing that they put them in there. Because why not? Why couldn't they not be in there? That was just such a great idea. C-3PO, R2-D2. There were just so many things. Jimmy Schmidt's in there as well when he has that scene and the Force theme plays, and it's just really magical just seeing that with Mon Mothma there and the Council. And then he says he's in contact with Obi-Wan and he's going to bring him to Alderaan. And of course, we all know what happens to Alderaan and Jimmy Smits as well as Bail Organa. But that was sad, but it was just so great that it was in there. And no one was overused in that respect. They just fit in so nicely with the film. And it was done in a respectful manner with taking the fans in consideration and the story and everything about the things we love. The characters in there, the Rogue One characters were just amazing. I loved Cassian, I loved Jin, Chirrut, Baze, Bodhi. Chirrut, he was just a special character. There were just so many special moments with them, with Baze as well. The connection they had, the references to the Force, and there is a Force wielder. I just had this really endearing sort of feel for that guy. And I just love how their scenes ended up with both of them together, and they're all dying, fighting for something they believed in, for a bigger cause, which made all those moments special, and it just made me warm to the characters even more. It's so sad, really. I didn't think that all the rebels would die in the end in the Rogue One team, but it was just done so well. It just made perfect sense for it to set up in A New Hope. So it was sad to see that happen because I became really attached to those characters, and they were played so well. They were so different, and something which I hadn't seen in the Star Wars universe, along with all the different planets they put on there, like Jeddah as well. They were some really special places with Saw Gerrera in there, obviously from the Rebels. Of course, there were nods from Rebels in there with the ghosts flying through with the Rebel fleet, and that was just awesome. Saw's character was great. I love where they went with that, and where he stood there and watched Jeddah just fall and crumble before him. They were just, how all their deaths were handled were just really emotional and fitting for the characters, and that's what for me made those scenes special. And with Jin and Cassian at the end, I just wanted a ship to come in and to take those two away. I thought there must be like someone flying around to take them, because someone's got to remain from these Rogue One squadron. But of course they stood there, embraced their fate, and it just made it a really sort of heartwarming moment between those two characters. Another nod to the Rebels was the Hammerhead ship, and I just loved that way. It just bashed into the Star Destroyer, pushed it into another Star Destroyer, and then destroyed the shield which was covering the whole planet so they could beam the signal up just in time. That was like really cleverly done. It was a nod to Rebels. I love the fact that they're all intertwining with one another. Special effects never felt at any point that they were overbearing, that was getting taken away from everything. There was just a good level of everything, and it just immersed me into every single scene and made it all the better. Yeah, there were so many favourite bits in there. The nods to Obi-Wan Kenobi as well. So there are so many things that I could talk about, but I'll be going on for way too long. The film was just awesome. Gareth Edwards has done an amazing job directing it. Everything has worked. The film was, to me, a masterpiece. I can't really find faults in it. I just enjoyed it so much. And that's what you want from a film, right? You want to leave from the cinema feeling like you had an experience and you had just been immersed in this story and you feel a part of it. And we got given all these posters as well. When we was leaving, Rogue One posters. So I took a couple. I took 3, one with Darth Vader as well, and things like that. I just love. When we was at Celebration, I kind of took that for granted, like from the Rogue One poster up there as well. But when we saw director Krennic walk up with the Death Troopers next to him and with his theme playing, it just seems all more special now, and everything just seems more amazing in the Star Wars universe. So I cannot wait to see more Star Wars stories. If they're going to be so emotional and impactful as that, then yeah, they're on to another masterpiece. I think that film really has been something amazing and incredible. So I'd love to know your thoughts and everything that you thought about it. Of course, stick it in the comments section. I hope you liked my video and my review, and thanks for watching. Cheerio.